the theology from the Old Testament takes place in Exodus chapters 12 and 13. So it's possible that we won't finish this chapter today. It's possible that we will. It just kind of depends on how we feel about it and what you already know about the Passover and such. And then we'll have Bible study again next week, and then we'll talk about whether or not we're going to do it during Holy Week or not next week. Okay? Got it good? All right, well, let's start. Get going. Ask questions if you have questions, all right? The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, "This month shall be for you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year for you. Tell all the congregation of Israel that on the 10th day of this month, every man shall take a lamb according to their father's houses, a lamb for a household. And if the household is too small for a lamb, then he and his nearest neighbor shall take according to the number of persons. According to what each can eat, you shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male, a year old, and you may take it from the sheep or from the goats. You shall keep it until the 14th day of this month, when the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill their lambs at twilight." Okay? Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns? There's no weather reports yet because the NCAA tournament is going to start later on today, so.
For the beginning of month, is that just referring to now we're going to start with all the rules and regulations that I want you to follow?
No, it actually, God is asking the Israelites to literally change their calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were to think about it, like put it in our terms, because the Egyptians followed a different calendar than what we follow right now. So like, it's normal for us to think about the calendar, like the yearly calendar from January to December, right? Is there a name for that? Just Julian, I was gonna say Justinian, but it's Julian calendar, okay? And that's different from the fiscal year, which is what?
July 1 through June 30th.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's the fiscal year, and then the church year is
November.
it ends in November
We could do
and starts in December with Advent. Although I think this past year Advent was November 30th. So some, depending on how the calendar falls, it can start in November. Okay? So what God is asking the Jewish calendar to do is to start at Passover, which is going to be the month of Abib, which is going to, depending on when the moon falls, kind of like how our Easter changes every year, it's going to be somewhere in March through February. Okay? Or April through March, depending on how it goes. Are there any other calendar year, school calendar?
Gregorian.
August through July. Okay, any other ways that we have to think about the calendar?
Is there a Gregorian calendar?
The Gregorian calendar is what the monks follow.
Eastern Orthodox?
Eastern Orthodox has a different calendar, but they still follow the church calendar. They that was part of the Great Schism between the Western and the Eastern churches, that they had a different date for Easter. So what we did in the West, we follow Rome's calendar, is that we would keep it with Passover based off of this chapter. And the Eastern Orthodox and the Russian Orthodox and all of the other Orthodoxes, they, it's usually, the way that the calendar falls is usually 1 week later, based off of some other thing that I've forgotten from church history. better pastor, he'd be able to tell you. Okay, so, yeah, so yes, the Orthodox calendar is different, but the main concept of Advent through the end of the church year is the same. They just have a different date for Easter. They keep the same date for Christmas as we do. Any other calendars?
Do they keep the same date for Easter?
The Orthodox?
Yeah.
No.
Easter falls during Passover.
No, they have a different date. And it's generally 1 to 3 weeks later when they celebrate Easter.
Chinese.
Any other calendars that we have to think about? Yeah?
I'm wondering, does every nation have its own calendar like Chinese have their own calendar?
Yeah, so Eastern countries that we normally associate with China, the Chinese have their own calendar, and it changes every year because that's based off of the moon, the lunar calendar as well. The reason why the church year changes, and the reason why the Chinese calendar changes, and the Jewish calendar changes every year is because these are called lunar calendars. They're based off of the 13 phases of the moon that we get in a year. And the Julian and fiscal don't change because they're solar. So it's based off of the sun, which is obviously fixed and much more stable than the moon. Okay? Like the Native Americans have their own lunar calendar, I believe. I'm not too familiar with it, but the Aztecs, the ancient Native Americans, the Mayans and the Aztecs and the Inca had their own lunar calendar that they followed as well. The Mayan calendar is famous. You've probably heard of it before. It has the circles. There's 3 different circles within each other. In the way that they rotate, you get 5 epochs or epochs of the world. And in 2012 was the final rotation of the last epoch of the Mayan calendar. And so everyone said that the world was going to end because the Mayan calendar had been around for 15,000 years and was older than the Julian calendar and knew more than what we were talking about. And it was the end of the world and doomsday. And surprise, surprise, we're all dead.
We're all dead, and this is just an illusion that we're...
Well, if this is an illusion, I've got some words, okay? Who's ever in charge of this illusion, I've got to talk to them, okay?
So the Christian calendar would cover like the United States and the South America?
No, so the Christian, the church calendar, or what we would call the Christian calendar, those have nothing, it's the separation of church and state. So the government is based off of the Julian calendar. But also, I mean, the government's calendar is very wonky to me. And maybe some of you who know more about American history can explain it to me. Like, we elect, what is it? Like, usually the first Tuesday of November, and that can be whatever date it is. And then the president is inaugurated on January 20th, I think.
Yes.
Or the third Tuesday of January, I don't know how that falls. And then, so technically the president's year starts when they're inaugurated, and then, you know, like that, it's too much to keep track of to me, because the dates are always changing, right? So technically, I would have the 3 different branches, and they would each have their own calendar, because Congress meets and then is on vacation, and same thing with the Supreme Court and this, that, and the other thing.
Is there any point when we all meet?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Looks like a Jewish
No.
one.
I don't think so. Which would, I mean, so my main goal, one of the things that I really, it's not a main goal, I have other main goals. One of the things that I'm always pushing as a pastor is to get people to see how the church calendar affects not only our worship, but it can affect your everyday life, right? Because as Americans, we're so geared toward this calendar that sometimes we can't see that past the end of our nose. Okay?
But in the church calendar, not all denominations follow the church calendar.
No, not at all. So, which denominations follow the church? Is this helpful for you? Do you guys already know all this information? Like, do I need to get off this tangent?
It's interesting.
No? Okay. So, what denominations?
Well, Baptists don't follow it.
Well, okay. So, let's start with the positive. Okay. Which denominations follow the church calendar?
Lutheran.
Catholic.
Yeah. So we'll start with Catholic,
Methodist. Methodist.
Lutheran,
Episcopal.
Episcopal, Methodist. Most Baptist churches do not. Okay, so we're gonna go Anglican. Okay. Some Episcopalians do, some don't. Basically, it's going to be based off of how conservative you are. Okay? Because if you are conservative, you're going to follow this thing called electionary. Okay? And the lectionary is the group of, I've talked about it before, but it's the group of readings that the church reads from Sunday to Sunday based off of what church season it's in. If you're not following a church calendar, it makes it a lot easier for churches to just preach whatever they want to. It gives you a lot more freedom to go and preach on the book of Ecclesiastes in January. Oh, we're going to start the new year. We're going to learn that everything is vanity, and it's going to be really, really great because it's going to put our New Year's resolutions in perspective, and this is what my people need, so that's what we're going to read. Well, that's not what the church calendar is doing in January. In January, we learn about Epiphany and how Jesus' light has come into the world. And now it's also for the Gentiles, because the three kings represent the Gentiles, the non-Jewish people that come and present and worship Jesus. So that allows us as Gentiles to be able to be grafted into the family of God because Jesus loves us too. That's a different message than I'm going to choose whatever passage from Scripture to do whatever I want. Okay? So there's, and if you have more questions about the lectionary and the church calendar, I will invite my friend, Pastor Joel Webb, to come, because this is like his bread and butter, I tell you. He knows more about this stuff than anybody I've ever met. Okay? He's the Methodist pastor over in Croswell. So when you follow the lectionary, okay, there's one main lectionary, and it's called the common lectionary. Right? Common ones for everybody, right? And that's the one that the Catholics use, the Lutherans use, the Methodists use, and the Anglicans use. But the Catholics and the Lutherans, we don't play well with others, right? So we always like tweak it a little bit. So it's like 75% the same and 25% our own special thing. Okay? So everyone that's not Catholic or Lutheran that uses the lectionary is going to use this one. Okay? And Pastor Joel Webb can tell you way more about that. So the Lutherans have a 3-year lectionary and a 1-year lectionary. And the 3-year lectionary is based off of the 3 synoptic gospels. Do we know what the synoptic means? similar, right? So sin means same or like in Greek. And optic, we all know, means vision or sight, right? So the three synoptic gospels, the three gospels that are very similar are Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Okay? So the 3-year lectionary is based off of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And you say to yourself, wow, that's not good. We need to have a 4-year lectionary because there's 4 gospels. And we should be reading all of the gospels, right? People?
Right.
Right. Okay? But because Matthew has 28 chapters, Luke has 24 chapters, and Mark has 16 chapters, Mark doesn't have enough to go around. So we kind of incorporate John and Mark into the 2nd year of the lectionary. I hate that. You know why? Well, you got gaps. You not only have gaps, but you're flipping mindsets all the time. Mark sees something this way, John sees it a completely different way. And when you come to church learning this thing and then you kind of switch your mind, and even though you as parishioners don't think that way, the way that I have to formulate the sermon is trying to get you to think in a different way than what you're normally thinking. And when I'm constantly getting you to go this way, then that way, then this way, then that way, it makes it a lot more difficult, in my opinion. Well, it can. So if you remember, the first year I was here, we were in the 2nd year of the 3rd year lectionary, which was supposed to be Mark. And the first year I was like, I'm not doing Mark, I want to do all of John. So we can just kind of follow along and see what's going on and see how John evolves his book to teach us all the theology that he wants us to learn. Okay? So then we switch to the 1-year lectionary, which goes all over the place. Because you only got one chance to get it right. It's going to be the same every stinking year. So they pick what some people think are the most important passages of Scripture to get you to know the basics, what's really happening, okay? And I've had a couple people comment to me since we switched to the 1-year lectionary 2 years ago. They're like, wow, we really cover a lot more stuff. Not that the sections are longer, but we're in different books all the time. And some people really like that, which is great, okay? Some people really don't like that. And some people really, really like just sticking to one book and reading it all the way through. It's just the way that you learn, okay? So, not that this way's wrong or the 1-year lectionary is wrong, is that some people are drawn towards learning in a certain way. So after I'm done with the 1-year lectionary, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to doing certain books to get to the people that didn't feel that they liked the jumping around all the time. And after we do that for a little while, then we'll start jumping around again. Right? Because there's no way that's wrong, it's just we want to reach everybody. Right? So that's how you have to kind of plan out what you're doing as a pastor to know who learns which way how. Okay? I was not expecting to talk about lectionary. I think some of you may get tired of me talking about the lectionary, but I think you have to understand that, as a pastor, because I'm in the church year and doing all of these church seasons, and the church seasons change the readings that we do, I'm basically living the lectionary all of the time. And so in my head, the lectionary is like, I'm using it every single day. And so that's why it comes up in my conversation and in my sermons all the time, because like that's how I'm orienting what I'm doing with y'all. Okay?
So Pastor, going back to this paragraph.
Thank you.
What month, I mean, he talked about this month shall be the beginning for you. What month? Are we talking about the Christian?
No, we're talking about the Jewish. Okay? So the Jewish is going to start with the month of Abib, which is going to be that month that Passover happens. Okay? So it's going to, I've got a really great chart that, remind me and I'll print it for you, that goes through the Jewish calendar so that you can see the different months and how they kind of play out based off of the Julian calendar.
So is it still based on the first full moon in spring?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
To this very day?
To this very day. Yeah. Which is how our Easter is based, which is how our Lent is based, which is how our Epiphany is based, right? So when you look at the lectionary, some years Epiphany can be like 9 weeks, I think is the longest it can be, which is just like, it's the longest. When you have a long Epiphany, it just drags. Once you get to that 6th Sunday of Epiphany, you're like, okay, I don't know how else to say that Jesus is for the Gentiles too. Okay? But then you got Lent is always 6 weeks, and then you have Easter, and then if you have a long Epiphany, you have a shorter Pentecost season. But if you have a short Epiphany, I think the shortest one is 4, then that's when you're getting into your 31st Sunday after Pentecost in October, and you're like, okay, like I'm ready for something different than the green. Right? So it's like it all kind of dominoes down based off of where Easter falls.
Maybe every 4th Sunday, then you can throw in the pink.
Twice a year, once for Advent in December, once for Lent. Yeah, it'll be great. I do really think, and I don't know if I've ever said this publicly, but I really, really don't like that the color for Epiphany is green. Because I think that we get enough green with Pentecost. So I would really like, and no one has ever done this. Like this is just my own personal thing. I would really like a gold for Epiphany to be like the light, right? Like the brightness of the light has shown. That just always has bothered me that Epiphany is the same color as the common Pentecost, but I'm the only one that feels that way apparently. So. Pardon?
I don't like the green.
Yeah. So it's a lot of green. I mean, green's my favorite color, don't get me wrong. But it's a lot. So, okay.
Ed can get a gold tie.
That was a lot. Well, it wasn't you. I got on my tangent. My slip up. Any other questions? I think it's weird that they can get from the sheep or the goats. Did anybody notice that? Why is that weird?
Well, weren't the goats the animal that they sent out to be
The sin offering.
to put the sin offering?
Ah,
And so and then the lamb we always associate with Jesus.
Yeah, wouldn't that be weird? And I don't mean anything heretical by this, but like, wouldn't that be weird to say the goat of God? Right? We just say the Lamb of God, right?
You say the kid of God.
The kid of God, right? The child of God, right? I think, but then on the flip side, when you think of a goat, I think like that's the common symbol for Satan, right? So you've got the Lamb of God, but then here you have the goats are okay, which is a little weird. Okay? So where does the symbolism for the goat being Satan come in? Do you know where that happens in Scripture? I think I'll forget the chapter. It's either Matthew chapter 24, 25, or 26. I always get them mixed up. But that's when Jesus separates the sheep from the goats, right? And the goats go on the left side and the sheep enter the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so that's where that imagery in the medieval times got shifted to Satan being a goat. Alright? So I would prefer, I mean, I don't get my druthers with the Bible, right? But I would prefer it only to say lamb. But it's not what it says. Why not?
That's what they raised.
They were the husbandry. Is that animal husbandry?
Mhm.
I don't like that word either. Like flock raisers or something would be better for me. But yeah, I mean that's what they did. They had goats and sheep.
Because they're not slaughtering the oxen.
Right, and you know some people make the claim that when goats and sheep are that young, you can't really tell the difference because they don't have their horns yet, and so it's basically the same animal, so it shouldn't matter anyway. And I mean that could be a reason if they're both white. Goats can be white too, so we just don't know. But that's always struck me as weird in this paragraph. Okay? Alright, well let's move on. Verse 7 through 13. And they shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and the lintel of the houses. When's the last time you used the word lintel? Anybody? You use lentils and soup. They shall eat the flesh that night, roasted on the fire with unleavened bread, and bitter herbs they shall eat it. Do not eat any of it raw or boiled in water, but roast it, its head with its legs and its inner parts. And you shall let none of it remain until morning. Everything that remains until morning you shall burn. In this manner you shall eat it, with your belt fastened, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and I will strike all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And on all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgments. I am the Lord. So you can also say, I am Yahweh, right? The blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and no plague shall befall you to destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt.
Very specific instructions.
So specific. I know, Diane, I know that you have been to a Seder. Have any of you, other people, been to a Seder?
Yeah.
Yes.
A Jewish Seder?
My daughter has.
Your daughter has? Sometimes Lutheran churches, I've heard, have like hosted Seder meals during Holy Week. They've had a Jewish speaker come in and talk about the importance of the Seder and what all of the different things mean.
Our Sunday school did it one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long ago?
Long time, when our children were young.
So over 20 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. I think it might be a good thing, like for next year. We could do like a Seder meal here, if we can find someone that's willing to do that. It might be difficult to get them all the way up here from the city, but that might be something that we can talk about doing. For those of you who have been to a Seder, you've heard like the very specific instructions. Like it's not just like an hour meal, right? Like it's, I don't even know how long, 3, 4, 5 hours? Not that, 3 hours? Yeah. Where they read sections of the Torah or the first 5 books of the Bible from Exodus and Deuteronomy and remind the people why we're doing this really big deal where we have to get rid of all of the leaven in the houses and all that other kind of stuff with the prayers. And so they go through each one of these things, like why are we eating the bitter herbs? We explain why the bitter herbs, and then you eat the bitter herbs so that you experience the reason why we have the bitter herbs. So it actually is a really good instructional tool for people to go through and experience every year so that they can experience the Passover like the people in Exodus would have experienced it thousands of years ago. Is there anything you want to say about it?
Well, I mean, I can tell you what it was like. It was wonderful. And we've been several times. I have very close Jewish friends. So I've been several times. Yeah, it's very moving. It's very, yeah, they follow the Torah, they read it, they light the candle. Every food is a symbolism of something, you know, that we just read about. You can't mix dairy and meat. It's separated. I mean, it's
That's from Leviticus.
in the
Yeah.
old, you know, it's very, very traditional.
Yeah.
Very easy as a Christian to follow that.
Yeah.
teaching.
Yeah.
I've been to 2 of them.
Yeah.
One was Baptist. Okay.
Ooh. Was
Yeah.
it? Were they different?
I don't know that, I don't remember that, that was about 25 years
Okay.
ago. But the Presbyterian church in Croswell has had them. I've
Okay.
been to one there, yeah, a lot of symbolism,
Mhm.
very nice.
So did it follow this?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, from what I remember. It's been probably 10 years since I've.
Yeah, that might be something that we can look into
I
for
think
next
it's
year.
wonderful, yeah, it is. You feel like you're there.
It would have been good for this year. I never thought about it until just now. Yeah. Any other thoughts or comments about this section?
Well, he's telling them, keep your belts fastened, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, so he's telling them, be ready to go.
Mm-hmm. So how does that influence what God is telling them to do? Well, get ready for the Exodus, but like, how does that influence the food?
I mean,
Minimal
like,
prep.
Minimal
Fast.
prep, but also it's
Don't waste.
fast,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to be ready. We're gonna make this, and you're gonna be ready to go, and you're not gonna be like, cause we could. It's kind of like in the Christmas Carol when Mrs. Cratchit is like just roasting the turkey over the fire, and it takes all day in order to do that, and it's nice and slow. This is not nice and slow. We're gonna cook this meat as fast as you can over the fire so you're ready to go. Why bitter herbs? Because you can just grab them and throw them on a plate. You don't have to prepare them. You don't have to cut them. You just throw them on the table. Let's go.
Unleavened bread, you don't have to wait for the bread to rise.
Right. All of these preparations are able to be done so that you are ready to go whenever you have to.
Well, that, yeah. That makes me think of in the New Testament where Jesus is telling of the 10 virgins and the lamps of have your oil ready, and the 10 didn't have them, and 10 did have, or half of them had the oil and half of them didn't. So be ready. Just to have the stuff prepared and be ready.
I would have never connected those two, but that's good.
Yeah.
What?
She said that's a gold star.
She deserves a gold
She told me I deserve a gold star.
Here's the rules with the gold star.
She said it though.
If someone says you deserve it, that means that you're automatically denied.
I am so sorry.
No, I will give you a gold star if no one says anything better.
Wow.
What?
We only have one.
One a day. One a day.
Wait a minute, I heard you gave 3
I
out
think
last
that
week.
did a while, so I had to make up for it. That was last week. I love it how everyone gets a gold star.
Also,
What?
to be ready to lead on the Exodus, but also be ready.
When the bridegroom.
Yeah, no, yeah, well, yes, it's the same concept, and I've connected those things in those things, I hate that. I've connected those concepts, the theological concept between the testaments, but I don't know if I've ever specifically meditated on the 10 virgins with this story before. So that was good.
So is this connected with Holy Communion?
Tell me about it.
Well, there's the blood of Christ is in Holy Communion. And then there's blood on the doorpost and, it seems similar,
So what would you do if I took the wine from communion and put it on my doorpost?
I would be really worried that the angel of death is.
So yes, it is connected to the Passover, but also it's not connected to the Passover at the same time. So just because you read in the Old Testament blood, the word blood, you don't automatically think Passover or Holy Communion. Okay, that would be what I would consider like a false connection.
But that was supposed to be a covering of sin, wasn't it?
Right. So if you go that way, that's better. Okay? So I would say more so that Jesus had Holy Communion, the first Last Supper, to celebrate the Passover. So if you connect it with Jesus did this at this time to teach us that the Passover is preparing us for Holy Communion, I would say yes. Great. But if you say we as Christians need to bring a staff to Holy Communion because I'm celebrating the way that they celebrated in Exodus chapter 12, I'd be like, no. So you can make do you see how those two connections are different? Okay? That, yes, blood is important for the Passover. Yes, blood is important to Holy Communion. But the blood is not being used the same way. Does that make sense? To put it over the doorpost or to drink it is not the same action. So it's less of a connection, if that makes sense.
Once he instituted that, then the other was no longer necessary.
Correct. Right. Well, for Christians. Right. Good. Anything else about the materials or in haste, how they had to do all that? Good to go? Alright. Verse 14. This day shall be for you a memorial day, and you, not like our Memorial Day, okay, so and you shall keep it as a feast to the Lord throughout your generations, as a statute forever you shall keep it as a feast. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the first day you shall remove leaven out of your houses. For if anyone eats what is leavened from the first day until the 7th day, that person shall be cut off from Israel. On the first day you shall hold a holy assembly, and on the seventh day a holy assembly. No work shall be done on those days, but what everyone needs to eat, let that alone may be prepared for you. And you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for on this very day I brought your hosts out of the land of Egypt. Therefore you shall observe this day throughout your generations as a statute forever. In the first month, from the 14th day of the month at evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening. For 7 days no leaven is to be found in your houses. If anyone eats what is leavened, that person will be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he is a sojourner or a native of the land. You shall eat nothing leavened. In all your dwelling places you shall eat unleavened bread. Think he's serious about it?
He's serious about it. If your mother said it once.
Yeah, right?
So in the Jewish calendar, that span of 7 days, the first day you shall eat the group shall meet on the first of the 7 days, and then on the seventh day they shall meet. In the Jewish calendar, are those specific holidays that?
I don't think so, but I don't know enough to be able to comment.
Okay.
I've just always, I know that like in Jerusalem, they have special services at the Wailing Wall, but I don't know like a specific like holiday or anything.
It's probably whether you're strict Orthodox Jew.
Yeah,
St.
well, and
Jews,
there's separate sects of Judaism
that
too,
are
which is really
super,
confusing.
Super
Right.
strict,
Yeah.
and even you separate cooking dishes for different things. They have every
Really, if you break down any part of history, and I don't care, like, political, socioeconomic, whatever, like, it's whether or not you take the rules seriously or not. That's what, like, conservative versus liberal versus whatever, it's how you view the rules, right? So, like, it's all the same thing, no matter where you are in history. So, like, surprise, surprise, there's 3 different kinds of Lutheranism. Well, main kinds. There's about 7 other minor kinds. Okay? Like, it's the same in whatever denomination you want to go to. Usually, Catholic is more the same, but you can get, if you go to the Catholic Church, St. Edward's on the Lake, that's going to be different than when you go to St. Denis.
There are churches that are, they divided way back with one of the popes.
Yeah?
Is it Elma and then also Romulus? I've been to a funeral and to a wedding in those churches. I was out of place because I did not wear total black. Women did not wear slacks.
It's the rules, right?
Yeah.
all about
Yeah.
rules.
You step back in time.
How do you-
High mass, right?
How do you view the rules?
Yeah, Latin.
all
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I went to, I think it's okay for me to say this out loud. If it's not, I apologize beforehand. I went to St. Edward's on the Lake for their Latin Mass on like a Saturday or something. And I was really expecting to like love it because I know a little bit of Latin, right? Like we can chant some Latin together and worship God. Like I'm all about that, right? But it was fascinating to me that the pastor, or the priest, I forgot his name, Anthony maybe. He is super popular at that church. Like people love him there, and I love that they love him. But it was weird to me in the Latin Mass that the priest never looked to the congregation. The entire time he had his back faced toward us. And so he was looking at the cross the entire time. And so he would walk back, and then he'd like kind of walk backwards and go, you know. I, as a Protestant, really did not like that, because I'm used to what I do and what I saw my Lutheran pastors doing growing up, where, you know, like, when you talk to the congregation, you face the congregation. When you talk to God, you look at the cross, you know, like, that is a normal interchange to me, and that not happening during the Latin Mass really, really turned me off to that style of worship.
And it's interesting that the diocese chooses what church can
You-
do the Latin.
Well, yeah, because you have to have special permission,
Yes,
and I don't even think it's from the diocese.
yeah, it comes from their diocese.
I thought it came from Rome itself.
Oh,
Like, I thought it came from higher up. Like,
well, maybe the word.
you have
comes
to like
maybe
have a
from the-
special certificate in order to do a Latin Mass anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, so wherever it comes from.
yeah, and the people up here believe that St. Ed's more conservative than that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is that like there's going to be a difference, and I'm not making a judgment call on which one's right or wrong,
Yeah.
because St. Edward only has one Latin Mass. The other ones are in English, and so they're
The
different.
word is, with the changes in the Detroit diocese, that priest at St. Ed's going to have to pick up 2 other churches.
Oh, poor thing. Yeah. All right. First month, 14, 11. All right. 21. We can finish this section. That'll be good. Then Moses called all the elders of Israel and said to them, "Go and select lambs for yourselves according to your clans, and kill the Passover lamb. Take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and touch the here's that word again. The lintel and the 2 doorposts with the blood that is in the basin. None of you shall go out of the door of his house until morning. For the Lord will pass through to strike the Egyptians. And when he sees the blood on the lintel and the 2 doorposts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not allow the destroyer to enter your houses to strike you. You shall observe this rite as a statute for you and your sons forever. And when you come to the land that the Lord will give you, as he has promised, you shall keep his service. And when your children say to you, 'What do you mean by the service?' you shall say, 'It is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover. For he passed over the houses of the people of Israel in Egypt. And he struck the Egyptians, but spared our houses.' And the people bowed their heads and worshipped. Then the people of Israel went and did so, as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron, so they did." Yes?
So he will not allow the destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me feel like there's someone or something else. He's preventing that death.
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm going to put words in your mouth.
Okay.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Is your question, what is the destroyer?
Is it an entity or is it I don't, yeah, I guess, what is the destroyer?
Is
I mean,
it
is it,
materialism?
yeah,
Is
I
it-
mean,
Yeah. Ooh, that's a really good question. Okay, so, what do we think?
It sounds like 2 separate entities, and then it sounds like one.
How so?
Well, the Lord is passing over, it says the Lord has to strike the Egyptians, okay?
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
And then he sees the blood or the 2 door, and the Lord will pass over and will not allow the destroyer. So that makes it sound like 2 entities,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But then, sacrifice of Moses passed over the houses of Israel. Maybe I'm misreading it for me. That's,
Well, no, I mean, it's either the
It's either-
Lord or it's the destroyer. Which one is it?
that's what I keep.
Right, that's your question.
wondering.
Right, yeah.
Well, can't it be one and the same?
Tell me
That's
about
right.
it.
Can't it be the Lord being the destroyer? When he sees the blood on the doorpost, then he will pass over you.
This was confusing. I don't know if it's just the Lord is the
Well,
only one present. or
How is it in
and
the Ten
destroyer.
Commandments? Do you remember?
It's like a big cloud that
It's a
swoops.
green cloud.
Green.
It's a green cloud. Okay. So when I was in Old Testament, this is one of my little stories here. When I was in Old Testament class in 9th grade in high school, my Old Testament teacher, Mr. Gerlach, whose wife was my 2nd grade teacher, okay, because that's how Lutherans run it, is that like he would grade our papers in red, right? It's normal for teachers to grade in red when they're marking things wrong, right? And then when we got to Exodus chapter 12, 13, 14, we watched the Ten Commandments, okay? So in the Ten Commandments, the destroyer comes as this green cloud that's foreboding that goes throughout the entire city, okay? From that day on, every single year, he graded the papers in green. Because the green was the destroyer.
So if you took some blood and put it at the top of your paper, that would protect you.
I don't think anyone was that smart enough to do that. But that would have been good. Okay? So it could, you can read it as separate, you can read it as together. I don't know if either of those interpretations are necessarily wrong. I think normally we think about the destroyer in our heads without like thinking about it too much. I think we normally consider it to be like the angel of death, right? Is how pastors have described it in the past. So if it's the angel of death, what does that mean?
Devil.
That there's an angel of death, like that's like weird to even think about.
That's not the first.
That's like conceptually hard for us to wrap our heads around.
It's the complete opposite.
It's the complete opposite of how we normally consider angels, okay?
But aren't the angels, they are the workers, the ones who carry out God's orders, deliver messages.
Because the word angel means messenger, okay? Yes. So if God says, go kill these people, the angel is going to kill people, right? Like they're doing what the Lord says. Because this all goes back to Genesis chapter 1. What God says happens, right? Whether it happens in that second, or if it happens days later, or if it happens through the power of one of his messengers, it's going to happen, okay? So which one is it? I'm not sure. I don't know if it's really that serious to know.
Because it's confusing, because what we just read, you see, you have a picture of something actively moving from
Right.
house to house to house.
Right,
But
right.
if you go to the next
Yeah,
chapter, it says, at midnight, the
Lord
Lord struck down
Right.
all the firstborn in the land of
Yeah.
Egypt.
yeah.
At midnight, boom,
Mm-hmm, yeah.
done. So it's
That's
Yeah.
not the first time the angel of death appears too. I remember there was an army that, I can't remember.
Later on, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been used before, so that would be the Lord too?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, is like, I don't know if we have to split the hair,
no.
as long as we just know that the Lord is the agent of the action, and whether or not it comes from him or if it comes from an angel of death, I don't think that really matters. As long as we don't think that it's like Satan or something. Okay? Good.
Today, when I read the word destroyer, I think of the Ghostbusters.
Oh, how so?
And they march all the way.
A marshmallow.
Now that is a connection that I've never heard before.
Wait a minute, you said that about my connection and mine was biblical. That's not biblical.
I said that I'd never heard it before. I never said I was giving him a Yeah, I think you can, but I think that gets back to the original question. Is like, is it an entity or is it something else, right? Like if it's like this death plague that is inanimate, then that's different than the angel of death or this like messenger thing that goes and does it. The reason why it says destroyer is because that's literally what it says in the Hebrew. It just says the thing that destroys, the destroyer. So it's like a separate verb that's not connected to God. But I think that if you want to label it as the angel of death, that's okay. So.
And God is the creator. He's
Right,
created all
right,
things.
right. Yeah.
Including angels of death.
Well, yeah, I mean, he would not have created the angel for that purpose, right? Because death, when he created the world, there was no sin, right? And the wages of sin is death. So I would say appropriated angels after the fall to take care of that for him, right?
Wouldn't that be almost kind of sort of like created?
Yeah. Reassigned. Okay. Good. I think that we can. Do we have time? I know that clock runs fast. We have 5 more minutes. Go for it. At midnight, the Lord struck down the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on his throne to the firstborn of the captives who was in the dungeon, and the firstborn of the livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where someone was not dead. Then he summoned Moses and Aaron by night and said, "Up! Go out from among my people, both you and the people of Israel, and go. Serve the Lord as you have said. Take your flocks and your herds as you have said, and be gone, and bless me also."
Well, that's interesting, just saying, and bless me also.
How?
Don't forget me.
Like he's had a change of heart, maybe, this God of the Israelites is a true thing, or a real
And
thing.
I think that you are 100% right, and he's 100% going to change his mind again. And we're going to see that in Exodus chapter 14. Okay? Yep. So, I mean, this is the full scope of society, right? From the Pharaoh to the guy in the dungeon. Some of the commentators say, well, it's impossible for every house to be affected.
Nothing's impossible.
It's not possible.
Nothing
Okay.
is impossible with God.
Well, okay, that's fine. But when you think of, like if, let's say, and I don't know how all of your families work, but like one of you is not the firstborn and you marry another person who isn't the firstborn in the family. Well then, none of you is that you two?
We're safe.
Okay, so you wouldn't have died, right? You wouldn't have died.
But you have
But
children.
you have kids, so then one of the firstborn, the kid would have died. So like when it says family or house, it may not be referring to a specific building. It could be referring to the household or the bigger scope of your family. Okay? So yes, it's possible that a physical building would have had someone who didn't die in it. If you have the two youngest kids that marry and then they don't have kids, there's no firstborn there, right? So all of the households doesn't necessarily mean building, but it means family, okay? But, like, I think, can you possibly imagine the cry that would have gone out from all of, like, the entire population of Egypt? Like, how loud that would have been. Because I don't know if you've been to a Middle Eastern country, but they can shriek a lot louder than we can, okay? And so that would have been, like, really, a lot. Would have been a lot. Yeah.
And the Ten Commandments, when the green haze is.
Green
going
haze, it's
through,
gotta be a green haze.
You hear the wailing and the
Yeah.
crying.
Yeah.
Of course, that ceased to be the
The
mill.
wailing, shrieking.
These are good Jews.
All right, so we, I don't know next week how far we'll get. We'll try to cover 12 and 13 next week and see where we get. And then maybe we'll do 14 during Holy Week. Because that'll give us some hope. Okay?
I thought we previously decided we weren't going to move in Holy Week.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we'll do 12 and 13, and I'll preach on Exodus 14 and 15 for Easter, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Sounds good. All right, let's say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. All right, Vicky.